I'd say don't sell yourself short on your administration and what you're able to do in that regards. Definitely not so much talk it up, but definitely make it known how administration heavy defence is and your role in defence, because local government is also administration heavy. But I'd also say that I've in 2 and a bit years that I've been here, I've found myself transition into a space where I initially wouldn't have thought myself skillful enough to apply for. So I would say that even if it's not something, the immediate role isn't something that you long-term wish, desire, but you do want to roll in local government, the ability to laterally transfer into other positions within the organisation is definitely there. And even in our organisation, it comes up a lot more often than people would think. So I'd say don't look at something and think, I don't, whether it's an indoor role or an outdoor role, don't look at a position and think, I don't want to do that. I'd say look at the organisation as a whole and say, do I want to work for that organisation? Well, yes, I do. So this is a position, this is how I'm going to get my foot in the door. I'd also say don't brush off the ability to approach recognition for prior learning organisations. So there's a lot of skill sets there that people, and the RPL programs are getting a lot better at advertising what they can do. There's a lot of skill sets there, particularly in the infantry or the combat engineers where I came from, that why defence doesn't recognise them as civilian qualifications. The recognition for prior learning program is able to bring those across through demonstrated skills and attributes that you've done in your time for defence, and they'll transfer them into civilian qualifications. So I'd say I would definitely recommend approaching one of those organisations that does RPL, get in contact and let them know what they can do for you. And in that, it's always, local government's always looking for those sort of transferable skills, even if you don't have the ability to transfer them into a civilian skill set. If you've got a certain level of skills that you can demonstrate you did in your time in defence, local government, if again you're the right person, they think you're the right person for the job, they'll help you transfer those over to a civilian skill set. So I'd say, look at your career and what you've done and what you think can and can't be transferable, and identify those, and definitely identify them in your CV or resume. Don't omit something because you think it's not relevant. Even just being part of operating a team or being a small team leader in defence, those roles are starting to become more and more important in local government, as a lot of local government, especially in New South Wales, I'm not sure about other states, but they're hitting a period where a lot of the entrenched members are coming up to retirement age, have been in for 20, 30 years, and there's a large amount that are, about to, in the next 5 odd years retire, and there'll be huge holes there that they'll need to fill. There's a lot of restructuring going around small team operations and bringing team leaders into those positions to make sure that whether it's outdoor or indoor, that sort of mid-level management is orchestrated or managed correctly, and those soldiers who have done team leader positions, whether they're section commanders or acting sergeants or sergeants, those sorts of things, they may not be immediately transferable to civilian skills, but I'd definitely, identify them in resumes and CVs and interviews, their ability to manage small teams and hit objectives and targets, and to be able to work in, diverse groups, to be able to support the upper echelons of the local government to get those objectives met.